Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Friday to you, TGIF, all that good stuff. Let's take a look here again at SUI to see what's going on. Still not so sweet. And again, if you saw this little thumbs down on my playout chart from yesterday, I continued lower, of course, as expected. But the truth is, it's just not really a good coin to take it along with because we don't have confirmation. Once more, please understand that if you are a spot trader, it's a different story. Add your position as you come down. Congrats to those who got into 420. I mentioned that as being a good, or sorry, I said 421 and was it 397 or 396 as good potential entries for your spot bag. So congrats on that. But again, from a leverage perspective, there's no reason to take a trade here. We're under all moving averages in the 4-hour, likely to hit a rejection point at 455 to 475. So just note that until we close soundly above either of these two resistances, there's really no reason to consider a long position. Again, taking a long into a resistance makes no sense. It's kind of like just beating your head against a wall. Sure, eventually the wall will probably break, but you're probably going to get hurt in the meantime, right? It's too high a risk. Okay, now, I don't recommend doing anything, of course, that's violent in nature like that. That's just a bad idea regardless. But let's go ahead and move on. I have terrible analogies. If you're new to the channel, you'll know that I'm not super great at that, but I guess there's humor in that too. A lot of people will just end up laughing over it for no reason. Okay, so we're looking at the last 7 days on the left-hand side. That's liquidation levels. On the right-hand side is 30 days. So what this is basically just giving us perspective of how much liquidation is above and below the price. You've been watching my channel for a while, you know what this means, but to anyone who's newer, these are areas that work like magnets in a lot of ways because market makers move the price in that direction because there's a lot of high leveraged idiots at that level. Okay, so generally speaking, we're kind of moving up away from this lower range, generally favorable, letting us know that the further away we get, the more likely we are to go higher. I know it seems kind of redundant, obviously, but we did sweep a large level liquidation here. Each one of these bars is worth about $500 million. So you could summarize maybe about 3 to 5 billion was liquidated at the 420 to 415 mark, and there's still a lot more left. Okay, so please understand we're not out of the woods yet completely. We can't break this descending trend line. Bitcoin pulls back to 100,000. I guarantee SUI will be in the $3 range sometime soon. But between now and then, we want to pay attention to trend reversals. So I'm going to talk to you about how to identify a trend and more so how that trend is reversed. Now, I talk about this in my Trading Academy, so if you're part of my group, my community, and you haven't watched my university videos, I would say shame on you or joke's on you. You shouldn't rely on my signals alone to try to be profitable. You should learn how to do this yourself, right? And again, a lot of it is just mostly identifying trends and trading in the direction. We see here, liquidation delta implies there's way too many shorts right now. Now, this is staying fairly high for too long. A lot of times you'll see that reversal occur because of that. But generally speaking, you trade in the direction of the trend. The trend is down right now, so hypothetically you'd want to short this coin. That's hypothetically how that works. I'm not proposing you short this coin at all. I have a low success rate. I'm basically 50-50 on all shorts taken with this coin, and I just don't recommend it. It's not a coin you want to short into because it has such a volatile price action to the upside. It's crazy. But all that being said, just jumping into a high leverage trade because you feel it's gonna explode is a bad idea. Okay. Now keep in mind Bitcoin's performing fairly well right now, and SUI is underperforming, but it's working itself into a type of compression, if you will, a little bit of a channel, and there is likelihood of breaking up because of that. Either way, we have a ton of resistance between 465 and 475. That's this point. These are points of control here, or open interest rather, and basically tells us that a lot of people are heavy and right now currently underwater in those trades. What do you think they're going to do when the price gets back there? They're going to close out their trades at break even minus the cost of the fees, and they're effectively going to close their trades. Okay, so a lot of times you'll see exit liquidity rather happening at those ranges. That's why resistance levels occur, because people are trying to get out of a bad position. And that's not always the case. It's just a small percentage of it, but it's definitely something that's relevant with open interest. So take a look here at the daily time frame. If we recognize this here, we want to understand that we are below the 50 and the 20-day SMA. I've mentioned this previously. Being officially below the 50-day SMA is a bad thing. The 20 is like the initial trend setter. Being under the 50 is okay, we're here to stay, right? So until we close above 455, there's no reason to consider a long. Even at that point, I'd feel very careful. I'd be careful doing so. Again, there's a lot of different factors involved, but let's take a quick look here at the time frame here on the daily. We can recognize we're still under 50 in the RSI, generally implying bearish divergence. Doesn't mean the price is going to keep going lower. It just implies it's going to have difficulty going higher. Okay. Same thing with money flow index. That's right there with it, which is generally favorable. Stochastic is swinging down for roughly the second time here. And MACD is still diverging. So there's basically 1 out of like 10 reasons to take a long position. It's basically a consolation. Okay, and this is what happens with a lot of people too. They'll take longs based on it being like a double bottom or something, for example. And a lot of times you can find success with that because overextensions will reverse themselves. But a lot of times people will get too greedy, they'll hold to the moon, and it never happens, and they get destroyed. And again, they just become another statistic, just like these guys here, right? Don't be this. That's basically just setting your stop loss or having a liquidation event that is really close to the price action because you're using too high leverage. I talked about this with my community too. Please read through our altcoin chat if you're in a community here. Never use more than 5% of your available portfolio per trade, and never use more than 5x leverage on alts. Okay, if you're using 25, 35, 45x leverage, you're in a bad position. You're going to be, it's eventually going to work itself out to be disadvantageous for you. The system is built for exchanges to make money. They love liquidation events, and you're just feeding the beast if you do that, okay? So please don't stop doing that. Stop being another statistic. It's stupid, it's dumb, and it doesn't need to happen. It's the reason why a lot of this volatility occurs too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I like the volatility, but again, the price action wouldn't be so ridiculous if it wasn't for ridiculous traders, right? I know it's easier said than done, but that's kind of where we're at there. Quickly to note here too, we just secured profits on Bitcoin. There's our long position from yesterday. We're averaging at about 103.7, 103.8. Sorry, yeah, 103.750. That's our average price. All right, so again, congrats to communities for that. Let's take a quick look here at SUI's hourly time frame and see if we have any confirmation for the shift in momentum. Oh, and I'm going to talk about that here in a minute too to help you identify, how do you identify a momentum shift or a trend reversal. Really quick though, this is the starting point there. We're underneath the cloud, not clean, freeing. The price action is getting clear here, the lagging span, and the conversion lines of the baseline. So SUI is trying really hard to break free. It shows good momentum, shows good potential, but again, we're not above the cloud, which in a lot of ways is a series of moving averages. So once again, being above the trend line, I think 455 or higher would be a much better consideration. The likelihood of the price going to that level is higher though right now, especially with Bitcoin hitting its 107K range. So that's kind of, this is still a false positive, but there's some good little smaller time frame indications here that we're tentatively back on track, but please do not walk away from this conversation thinking I'm recommending a long. If you do take a long, I would secure profits between here and 455, because once again, that's a significant resistance range for us. Okay, so let's talk quickly about identifying trend reversals and then call it a day here, okay? So you can see pretty obvious we're making lower highs and lower lows, okay? So it's just consistent. So the first thing to kind of identify when you see this kind of trend is to identify, and it's a little easier on smaller time frames, establishing higher highs and higher lows. So first of all, we haven't broken this trend line yet. So that's check number one. So we haven't broken, we're in step one basically, which is a descending trend. Step two is establishing range-bound activity. And this doesn't always happen, but it usually helps a lot to have this happen. So just say, for example, the price action continues to do this. That's step number two, or basically phase number two, letting us know we're range-bound, okay? Now, a lot of times when range-bound activity like this occurs in a descending trend, it will continue to break down. So that's why you don't just take a long at any given time. You're gonna wait for the best case scenario. You take a long here at support, and that would be helpful. Either way you look at it, in this horizontal trend line, essentially kind of letting us know that we're in step number two or phase two of trend reversal. The step number three or phase three is to establish higher highs and higher lows. Okay, it's basically just breaking this descending this horizontal trend, right? The resistance range, and retesting it as a new low. Okay, so here's a quick and easy way to go. Let's say we got a resistance line here. The price breaks up. If it comes back down to retest this area, that's a good place to get in. Now, I would exercise caution because from a macro perspective, we're traveling into a resistance range, and we're still under a lot of descending type of trend lines here. So don't just take a long if it comes back to retest 445. However, that's what you're going to be looking for in short-term or macro trend reversals. But just again, keep in mind here, folks, we're a long ways away from this coin breaking out and going bonkers. But again, it has a history of doing so too, all right? So either way you look at it, there's some positive here, but mostly negative. I don't see a reason to take a long position just yet. That's just me. I'm a bit of a conservative trader, so if you're a higher risk trader, at the very least, if you're going to take a long right now, utilize these considerations here, right? No more than 5x leverage, no more than 5% of your available portfolio. Again, trust me on this, in the long run, you're going to see the benefit there. Most everybody who uses that strategy, when they come over to my community, thanks me later. It comes at some point or another, right? Between now and then, I realize you're not going to get rich quick like all these other idiots online who set the wrong example for you. But the truth is, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is trading is a personal journey, right? If you can't improve your own risk management, your own risk tolerance, or respect that and follow the trades that you set out for, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Never remove a stop loss. Never trade without a stop loss. Always do the right thing. Anyways, that's just some food for thought for you folks. I do that because I care for my community, and I get tired of people, coming over and having destroyed accounts because they follow some stupid other idiot that's a total moon boy that doesn't know a damn thing about trading. That's annoying. Okay, I'm just gonna put it simple for you. Anyway, what isn't annoying is my playout charts. I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Those are available here for you. And if you're curious about the price action for the last 7 days, this is a good summarization. All right, folks, have a good rest of the day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.